Hello, I will be doing my movie presentation over the movie Silver Linings Playbook. So first, some key points. I will be discussing the movie and specifically the main character, Pat. Topics I will go over include Pat's diagnosis and potential factors that could have led him to this diagnosis, how his diagnosis affects his life as well as those around him, and possible treatment options. Introduction. The movie centers around a man named Pat who is essentially figuring out how to live his life again after getting out of a psychiatric hospital with a new bipolar diagnosis, and after being admitted for beating up the man he caught his wife Nikki cheating on him with. He seems to be in denial about his mental health as well as the fact that his marriage is ending. He starts trying to plot a way to speak to his wife and make things right. One night, he goes to his friend's new home for dinner, where they have clearly tried to set him up with a woman named Tiffany, who recently lost her husband. Tiffany displays some very telltale signs of borderline personality disorder. Pat later strikes a deal with Tiffany to be her partner in a dance competition in exchange for Tiffany giving a note to his wife for him. He's annoyed by this commitment at first, but it turns out to be good for him. Pat's father places a bet on a football game with the inclusion that Pat and Tiffany must get at least a score of 5 at the competition for Pat's dad to win his money back. Of course, they get a 5 and Pat realizes he is in love with Tiffany. So this first scene is pretty much right after he gets out of the hospital and moves back into his parents' house. He's decided that he wants to try to win his wife back, and his way of doing that is by reading all of the books from her syllabus for her 9th grade students.
The fuck? Stupid fucking book. I just can't believe Nikki's teaching that book to the kids. I mean, it's the whole time. Let me just break it down for you. The whole time you're rooting for this Hemingway guy to survive the war and to be with the woman that he loves, Catherine Barkley.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning, Pat.
And he does. He does. He survives the war after getting blown up. He survives it, and he escapes to Switzerland with Catherine. But now Catherine's pregnant. Isn't that wonderful? She's pregnant. And they escape up into the mountains, and they're going to be happy, and they're going to be drinking wine, and they dance. They both like to dance with each other. There's scenes of them dancing, which was boring, but I liked it because they were happy. You think he ends it there? No. He writes another ending. She dies, Dad. I mean, the world's hard enough as it is, guys. It's fucking hard enough as it is. Can't somebody say, hey, let's be positive? Let's have a good ending to the story?
Pat, you owe us an apology.
Mom, I can't apologize. I'm not going to apologize for this. You know what I will do? I will apologize on behalf of Ernest Hemingway, because that's who's to blame here.
Yeah, have Ernest Hemingway call us and apologize to us, too.
So, as you can see, Pat does not really have a lot of awareness for the fact that he's waking up his parents at 4 a.m. to talk about his rage over a book that he just threw out the window, breaking the window. So this is, I think, him having a manic episode. This next scene is the day after, and I couldn't find a video of the whole thing, but right before this, he goes to his therapist's office, and in the lobby, there's a song playing, which his therapist intentionally played to see if it triggered him, and he knocked over a bunch of books and scared all the people in the waiting room.
I come home from work after I left early, which I never do, by the way, but I got in a fight with Nancy, the high school principal. I come home, and what's playing but the song from my wedding? The song that you so charmingly played out here today for us. That's playing, and I don't think anything of it, which is odd, because I should have. I come home, what do I see? I walk in the door, and I see underwear and pieces of clothing and a guy's pants with his belt in it, and I walk up the stairs, and all of a sudden I see the DVD player, and on the DVD player is the CD, and it's playing the wedding song, and then I look down, and I see my wife's panties on the ground, and then I look up, and I see her naked in the shower, and I think, oh, that's kind of sweet, she's in the shower, what a perfect thing, I'm gonna find her, and maybe I'll go in there, we never fuck in the shower anymore, maybe today we will. I pull the curtain back, and there's the fucking history teacher with tenure. And you know what he says to me? You should probably go. That's what he says to me. So yeah, I snapped. I almost beat him to death. But then I get fucking chastised for it. I bet I'm parallel to my father. I don't think so.
All right. Can you talk about something that you did before or after?
Yeah, about a week before the incident, I called the cops, and I told them that my wife and the history guy were plotting against me by embezzling money from the local high school, which wasn't true. It was a delusion. And we later found out from the hospital that's because I'm,
Undiagnosed bipolar.
Yeah. With mood swings and weird thinking brought on by severe stress, which rarely happens, thank God. And then the shower incident happened, and that's when everything snapped, so I then realized that, oh wow, you know, I've been dealing with this my whole life, and without any supervision.
So we find out he is bipolar. Symptoms are mood swings, stress-induced paranoia, manic episodes, rapid speaking, delusion, depression, impulsivity, and aggression. I say depression because he talks about prior to, him going to the mental hospital, he was depressed, he had some weight on him and he just wasn't really doing too great, and he was, when he got out of the hospital, he was making it a point to try to be healthier. Environmental or biological. Pat's father displays signs of OCD, and he seems to have a bit of a gambling problem as well as some aggressive behavior of his own and a history of getting into fights. I think that genetics plays a big role but can be triggered by environmental factors such as puberty. Yeah, Pat's dad there was a couple of scenes in the movie where he displayed a lot of OCD tendencies. One was he had to turn the remotes a certain way when they were sitting on the table. Another was envelopes, like he counted his envelopes. He had to make sure he had the right amount. And he thought that Pat was like a good luck charm for the football games. Like if Pat wasn't there, then the team would lose. Impact. Pat's life is impacted in every way by his disorder. It can cause him to act in aggressive and irrational ways, making relationships difficult to maintain. The police show up in the movie several times and without context assume the worst of Pat because of his history. He tries to go up to the school where he used to teach and speak to a coworker, and she was visibly nervous to be around him. Most of all, his parents worry a lot about him. Treatment. Pat is on the right track. He starts to spend a lot of time running and dancing with Tiffany. That makes him happy, and it's good for his mental and physical health. But I think Pat needs medication to be stable, along with some dialectical behavior therapy. I believe Pat will come to that conclusion on his own, but will he stay there? Who knows? He could very easily fall if something bad were to happen between him and Tiffany. But I think part of the point of this movie is to normalize that that is okay. Life is not straight sailing. Yeah, so I think this movie does a really great job of showing that not everything has to be perfect and that life just isn't that way. Sometimes people have mental illnesses, and that doesn't mean that they can't live their lives. It's not going to be a linear healing process. There's going to be up, downs, and arounds, but you know, at the end of the day, it's life, and all you can do really is your best and truly find the silver linings, you know.